So for a lot of entrepreneurs, selling their company is kind of reaching the pinnacle of their entrepreneurial journey. And while it's such an important moment, there's very little entrepreneurs that talk about it. How was it and what were the learnings that they've made when selling their company? So today I'm near Zurich, where I'm going to meet the Amorana founders who have recently sold their company, and they're going to share their experiences from building Amorana but also selling it. Let's go. Hey guys. Hi. Hi. Hello.
I'm Lukas, and I'm one of the founders and the CEO of Amorana.
My name is Alan Fry, and I'm one of two co-founders of Amorana. I'm spending the money we earn with marketing. I'm the head of marketing.
Amorana is an online shop for sexual wellness.
What did you do before? Did you always know you were going to do this?
No, I didn't. I was an entrepreneur when I was at university. I already had an agency for promotions. And after studying finance, I went into investment banking. So I thought I would go the traditional Swiss career of becoming a banker. Leaving the banking system was quite hard because you kind of get locked in, obviously. It's very well paid, very fast paced, it's very competitive. So all of these things were very appealing to me. But as I was already an entrepreneur before I started studying, it always kind of pulled me back into entrepreneurship. And so I decided to start doing something on my own again. So Alan called me when he heard that I left banking and asked me if I wanted to do a startup with him. I immediately said yes, because I knew Alan from university. He was very well connected, and I knew it would be quite a good match for building a startup. But we didn't know what we were going to do.
We decided to have a call every week on Friday to bounce ideas. And he called me up and, do you have an idea? No. Do you have an idea? No. So let's talk to each other next Friday. And we did that for 3 weeks.
That didn't really produce any useful ideas. So after a while we said, okay, let's meet every Friday and brainstorm and discuss ideas. That ended up with us just going out to clubs and bars every Friday. But eventually we got there, and eventually we started coming up with a few ideas. And one of them was just to get into e-commerce. And then we refined it from there, what sector, how we're going to do it and everything.
We had the idea about 8 years ago. We realized that the whole sex toy industry wasn't digitalized yet, that there was still a lot of offline retail. And we read a study that 90% of men and 80% of women would like to try more in bed, but they're afraid to ask. So we started with a subscription model 8 years ago, and 7 years ago we started with Amorana.
How did Amorana's first warehouse look, and where was it at?
So the first warehouse was in my apartment. It was just my living room. I cleared out the bookshelf and put all the toys in there. When an order came in, we just started packing it. And then I jumped on my bike and rode to the post office to drop off the box.
At what point did you realize this is really going to be something big?
When we started with Amorana, I went out, and when I saw a group of people, I asked them, so do you know Amorana? And in the very beginning, out of 10 people, maybe one knew Amorana. One day, I went out partying again. I went to a group of people and I asked them, so who of you knows Amorana? And like 8 of 10 knew Amorana. They didn't buy it at Amorana, but they knew Amorana. So there I realized, okay, that might be something.
In the early stages of Amorana, we started selling a product called AutoBlow. And with our marketing channels that we used, we realized that we were able to sell a lot of these in Switzerland. We were still very small at the time, so we sold way too many, so we didn't have them. We had to source them. When we actually got them, we just had to ship out hundreds of them, and we were only 3 people. And that's when you also came and joined to help us pack them. There was just a step change in the company where we just realized we could do a lot more volume.
When we moved to a new location and we had our first real warehouse, and you walk into that warehouse, so that was really That was very cool.
And there are several of these where we realized we could just get to another level, and we never actually went back after reaching such a level. It just kept growing very fast.
How big is the team? What is roughly the revenue per year? Where do you stand today?
So the team is about 35 people now, half of which are in fulfillment and the other half in the office. And revenue-wise, we don't communicate exact numbers, but we're in double-digit millions and have been in that range for the past 2 years, so that gives you some sense of where we are now. Already when we founded Amorana, it was our goal to sell it at some point. And we always worked towards this goal, and it was always part of the decision-making process. So the decision to then actually start the process of selling it just came naturally because we reached a size where it would make sense. We reached an age of the company, revenue targets that just made sense to start thinking about this process. So it never felt unnatural. It was just something we worked towards, and it was always a goal.
Then we found this great partner with Love Honey, and today we are the largest sex toy reseller in Europe or even in the world. So we have this scale now, and then suddenly we can use their know-how, they can use our know-how, we can work together on products. So that was the reason why we decided to do that.
How did it feel to say goodbye to at least part of your baby?
To be honest, it doesn't feel different. I'm still working here. I still feel very committed to the company and the vision they have. So that didn't change at all. But selling a company, that was an emotional roller coaster because there's someone who wants to buy it and then you're super happy and then they decide, you know what, we are not going to buy it because of this and this reason, and then you're again down, and then somebody else comes into the process and then they see things they like and then they see things they don't like. Building company took 7 years and selling company was like these 4 or 5 months, but it was the same roller coaster again. Realizing after like 2 or 3 months, okay, it's the same pattern again. It's ups and downs, and just enjoy the ride. It will be great.
So what did the process look like for Amorana?
We're very happy to have a great, or have had a great board of directors. Some of them have been involved in exit processes before. So through their information, through their know-how, we knew pretty quickly with whom we would start doing this, and which investment bank, which lawyers, etc. The investment bank is actually the first contact point. They looked at us, they look at the company, and they make a decision if this is something that's sellable, if this is something they want to go out into the market with. Together with them, you decide kind of what valuation targets you have, what timeline you have, what the potential buyers would be. This is all done together with the investment bank. Then you need lawyers because it's lots of contracts. I think it was over 500 pages of contracts. So obviously you need really good lawyers. There's nothing more expensive than a cheap lawyer.
Who else did you tell that you were going to sell the company?
No one. Well, it's important to keep it confidential because when you talk to the investment bank, you don't know that you're actually going to go out to the market yet. You're evaluating the situation in the market, the investment bank is evaluating the potential buyers, and until that point where you actually go out and talk to them, no one should know. So when assessing potential buyers, we would look at several factors. One of them obviously is if it's a strategic buyer or not. Because for us, a strategic buyer was always more interesting because we wanted to stay involved in the business, and there were just a lot of synergies with some of the strategic buyers. This buyer is also interested in our product and interested in our market and has know-how in our market that they could bring to the table compared to someone who's just giving us money and then we have to report KPIs.
So what are some of the other factors that an entrepreneur wants to look at and be prepared to negotiate on when they get a first offer?
So a buyer wants to make an initial investment and usually wants to have some kind of earn-out based on the numbers that you present them. He's paying an initial investment based on what you've done so far, but what you're presenting you will do in the future is usually linked to some kind of earn-out. So the initial payment is one part. The earnout is another part. And then some buyers are looking for a reinvestment of the founders, like in our case, Alan and I reinvested the part of our proceeds back into the company because we want to stay involved. And it's also something that the buyer wants, to know that we stay on board, to know that we're motivated and have aligned incentives about the company.
Is there anything that you would have done differently in hindsight?
Yes, setting up everything a bit earlier because they ask a lot of data.
It's a first interview, obviously, they want to get to know the person, but after that it's due diligence. And then you just need to have the documents ready. And we opened the data room, put all our documents in there, thousands and thousands of pages that had to be uploaded. And once the data room is open for the potential buyers, they will start asking questions. So we actually put a limit on the questions they were allowed to ask. But some of them asked several hundred questions, and each one of the questions requires more documents. So you just really have to have your documents ready and sorted. That makes the process a lot easier.
Always be ready to walk away. When the offer doesn't meet the expectations, to walk away. This is something Lukas and I decided very early on, what do you want? What do I want? We had several discussions about it and we were 100% aligned. We could focus all our energy on these external partners instead of having internal discussions. And that was very helpful.
Now there's a few more zeros on your bank account. How has that changed your life since you sold the company?
What I realized is that you just have other stress. Maybe 15 minutes where I was relaxed and I'm still happy looking at it. But suddenly you have other things coming up. You have other problems. Money helps, in different things. I didn't have a lot of money on my bank account, but suddenly other things come up, like, taking care of negative interest on your bank account. Where am I going to invest? People calling who want to invest your money, people calling who want your money, and maybe I'm a pretty okay entrepreneur, but being an okay entrepreneur is just not the guarantee for being a great investor.
The whole process of building the company and the whole process of selling a company was quite stressful. My life has been a roller coaster together with Amorana. It's always ups and downs. Alan and I always joke, in a startup there's only two phases. It's either euphoria or panic. And doing this for 7 years kind of takes a toll on you. Some of it went away once the deal closed because we actually reached the goal and we achieved what we wanted. It's not many times in your life that you work towards something, a very specific goal for 8 years, and then you achieve it. And that was a very big event for us. Obviously the money helps, kind of relaxes me at night a little bit. I sleep a lot better now.
You're known as someone that doesn't own a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
What does luxury mean to you?
Living in a hotel. I moved into a hotel 2-3 weeks ago. That was the best decision ever. I'm so happy when I'm in that hotel. I'm at Citizen M, a very small room, 15-16 square meters. They're taking care of everything there, and that's luxury. Reducing the stress for things that, in my opinion, are not productive for me. Reducing my stress, but on the other hand, also creating cool things. These are the two things I want to invest my money in, and I don't want to invest it in having a new car or something.
But is there anything else that you've bought that you've treated yourself with since you've sold the company?
No, I haven't bought anything. We said, look, now we need to celebrate this event, and we got us an ice cream. And that's actually the only thing I bought so far, which was specific or is specifically tied to this event.
Alan, thanks so much. This was really insightful.
Thanks for having me.
And all the best for the next few years.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lukas.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Sunday evening and it's time to head home for me. But I'm super grateful for everything that Lukas and Alan have shared. And if you feel the same way, then please give this video the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for similar content. If you want to know more about topics that we discussed, like fundraising versus bootstrapping, then go ahead and check out this video. And if you're interested in finding out what I do on a regular weekday, then go ahead and click here for a video about a day in the life of a VC. And with that, stay curious, have a beautiful day, and we'll talk soon.